Okay, so here we are with Opal, beginning our training session. And what I work on here right off the bat is just warming up with a little manding. So all manding is the puppy sitting and looking at me for attention. And the way I taught her this is by rewarding anytime she would sit and essentially look at me. So there's no command for this. I simply shaped the behavior. And I get down on the ground like this now to, I can better tell when she's looking at me in the eyes. So in the beginning, I just want her to sit and generally look at me. That's kind of our starting point. And now I'm getting a little more picky where I want her to be looking at me in the eyes and giving me eye contact. So it's hard to tell in the video, but all I'm doing here, because she knows the treats come from my hand, so she kind of looks left and right, and then eventually she gazes up at me. And every time she gazes at me and looks at my face, I click and then reward. So she's been trained to the sound of the clicker. She knows when she hears the clicker, she gets a food reward, and it's the quickest way to reinforce behaviors. I can click and mark a behavior much faster than I can hand deliver her a treat. So that's kind of the beauty of the clicker when you're trying to train new commands or new behaviors. So she's doing really well here. And so essentially all you're seeing today is a quick recap of a bunch of training sessions, short pieces of each thing we've been working on. Oh, she's sitting behind me. I can't see you back there. So I did kind of encourage her to come forward. Now we're just going to work on our sits and downs. So again, all of the things that you're seeing in this video, I kind of compiled into one thing for the video, but when I'm working with her, I generally just work one or two things at a time for a few minutes, and then the training session is over. But she actually did, her and all the other puppies did really well putting everything together at this point. You know, we're a good week and a half of training. She's doing really well. So with her sits and downs, she does not need a lure anymore. So I give her the hand signal to sit, which is just that, a scoop up above her head, and then I click and reward. I had a bee trying to get in my hair. Point down at the ground means down, point and click. Now, if she wants to stay in a position, like there, she didn't move from the sit I put her in, I will reward that. Because essentially, you know, when she's older, but even now, I mean, I expect them, if I say down, I want them to stay in a down until I ask them to do something else. So if she offers to stay in that position, I will reward it. If she doesn't at this age, it's not a big deal, and I just kind of move on. So now we're going to work on standing. So this is just another concept, and really at this point I'm just getting seconds of stillness, but I just want her to stand with her feet still. So she gets a small little nibble, and then I have a moment in time when I quickly remove the treat that I can click and reward. See, now she's not moving her feet as much. See how she stays with her feet? It's really just milliseconds at this point. But when I do click and bring the treat back to her face, I'm using string cheese, and it's really soft, and I can easily squish off a piece and give her some. So when I first start, you know, when she's nibbling a little bit of it, she's not really getting much at all. That's not a reward. But when I click and bring it back, she's getting a bigger piece. So here she's kind of nibbling. It gets her set up. And I am clicking with her right there just to reinforce, because she's not wanting to stand quite as still as I'd like. But then I quickly move to try and take that food away, and now she's doing a little better. So in time here, I build duration. So, like already here, you can tell from the beginning there, she held it really nicely at the end. But yeah, that's the starting point for it. It's just another concept to teach them, you know, just like your sits and downs. Teach them that standing still with all 4 feet and focus on my hand signal will get you a reward. So now I'm going to grab the box, and we're just going to demonstrate target marking. And again, none of this stuff that I've worked with her on, there are no commands for this. I'm not telling her to do anything. This type of training is just shaping behaviors that the dog gives us. So, you know, I'm creating scenarios where I hope she's going to give me a piece of the behavior I'm looking for. You know, I'm trying to create scenarios so I have something to reward. But yeah, there's no commands for this. So, I do have a small problem here as far as she's gotten so big. I do need a little bit bigger box. But it does work. I just like the cardboard box. You know, when I toss a treat in, it doesn't always bounce out because it's got the sides. I wish it was a little bigger, because I do like to encourage the puppies to eventually sit in the box. And she's at that stage now. So, essentially, for, you know, to back up a little bit, to shape this, I want her, anytime she associated with the box, I would click and treat, and I would throw the treat in the box. See there, she was trying to sit, but the box is not big enough. So I do need to move to a bigger box, but I can tell she is, and I'm trying to help her here. I am luring her a little bit to get that back foot in, and I think that helped her, if I remember right. But anyways, anytime she would associate with the box, I'd click and throw the reward in the box to create a bigger draw to the box. So, you know, if she even just glanced towards the box, I would click and throw the treat in. And eventually she realized, hey, this is cardboard box is where cookies get delivered. And so you'll see here, I tell her, okay, and I'm trying to release her from the box. Here she comes, and now watch. I don't say anything. She goes right back to the box, click and reward. So she's figured out, again, by me shaping this behavior of her interacting with the box, she's learned that, hey, if I go over here and interact with the box, I get paid with a reward. And look, there she sat in it herself. She's squishing the box. She's doing exactly what I would like to see here, really nicely, getting her to place in the box. And eventually, once they learn to sit like that, see how she goes back? That's so nice. I'm going to click and reward that. Especially because I'm behind her. She chooses to turn away from me and go back to that box. You know, because manding is another behavior. Some puppies, when they no longer see the box and they just see me, it can be hard for them to think of another option when they don't get rewarded for manding, when I'm, you know, waiting for them to go find the box. But she's caught on really quickly. But essentially, by using this box and see how I'm moving around now and she's not moving away from the box? That's the start of our stay, believe it or not. So sometimes when I move like that, puppies are just drawn to you and they just run right up to you. But she's pretty glued to the box. Look at that lovely sit. And when they do it right, I'll pay a bunch of rewards really quickly like that. And then I call her off, give her the okay, pick up the box. We're all done with that session. So, anyways, that kind of gives you an idea. You'll see more next week. We'll do the crate and some other things. Okay, so here's just a little demonstration. She's doing really good for her nail trims with the Dremel. Again, she's growing. This puppy's getting pretty big already. You know, when they're a little smaller, she's just about too big for me to keep in my lap any longer. But she's a pretty good girl, so I can still hang on to her for the most part. If she was really not having this, I'd probably move her to the table, and she's ready to be moved to the table anyways. I will put them on the grooming table. It just helps me control them a little more when they're bigger. But when they're small enough and to have in my lap, I do think it's convenient just to kind of hold them close to my body this way. And you can see she's squirming a little, like it's hard for puppies to sit still. She's not terrified of it by any means. She's just harder to sit still. So this is something that you'll want to continue. I mean, essentially everything that I'm doing, you know, you're going to need to continue it to, you know, keep it installed and, you know, to also improve upon it. But it is important, like stuff like this, for puppies to learn at a young age that, you know, they can be restrained and it's okay. And, you know, they do need to sit still for this body handling stuff. I feel like this gets missed a lot with puppies. And then, you know, when the puppies turn into adult dogs, you know, nobody can look at their teeth or, you know, trim their nails and things like that. So doing this weekly at a minimum would be fantastic. She does pretty good, so I don't use a food reward. I just kind of, at this point, you know, I just kind of expect her to just do it for me because she's pretty comfortable. If the puppy was really terrified or something, or really scared and unsure, I would try and make it, you know, as positive as I can, get a really yummy food reward. But you can see she's letting me look at her ears, look at her lips. She's giving me kisses. She's pretty relaxed. She's a really nice puppy. You're going to be getting a really nice puppy. So yeah, this is kind of where she's at. She has been sleeping in her crate at night. Potty training is coming along great. I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know if you have any questions.